Hey guys, back at the channel film. Thanks for clicking on my video. May be given abundant health and sustenance. In this video, this time, I will be performing a Korean drama titled Red One. Without lingering, let's get straight to the storyline. Story begins with a woman attending an event at UNICEF, or a humanitarian organization in America. This lady, named Oh Wan-soo alone, is a charitable foundation owner at the same time. Ambassador. Very influential world friendship among the rulers, nor the people. And at this event, Wan-soo is voicing justice, defending juvenile victims of criminal organization crime from the Middle East named ISIL. But because his actions voice justice, Wan-soo get a threat of patenting from the ISO's side if Wan-soo dares to come to the Philippines. But Wan-soo was neither daunted nor afraid of the threat from the ISO, where Wan-soo still came to attend his show in Manila City, Philippines. Wan-soo then met his guest at once, will be an investor willing to fund his charitable foundation. We are also introduced to the figure of Wan-soo's husband named Kim Yong-guk, who was predicted will be the successor to Korea's largest company called Hwain Group. Jung-guk himself came there to support his wife in the action of rallying funds for victims of war around the world, and can be seen the relationship between the two of them is so romantic and support each other's careers. While in different places, seen a mysterious man secretly into the slot, aka a casino, to keep an eye on that group of casino owners. And this man, named Do Yoon. Do Yoon was apparently investigating his friend's Meningonia at once. His police partner, who was patented by an assassin, aka unidentified paid patenting, until when Do Yoon was investigating the news of the perpetrator by eavesdropping on the conversation the men of the casino bars about the assassin who will return to the patenting mission. Do Yoon even saw his senior police in Korea come far away to this place, and his Do Yoon senior named Pa seen meeting the casino boss and gave a very abundant amount of money. Made Do Yoon surprised and wondered, what is the relationship between the senior park and the casino boss? Do Yoon then decided to leave there. We were then shown a flashback 3 months ago about a fellow Do Yoon named Jung Gyu-woon, the mocha in the assassin's hand, who until now still do not know whose identity. The next day, Oh Wan-soo, who wanted to take the necklace ordered went without an escort, because the bodyguards were assigned to escort Wan-soo's mother-in-law, who happened to be attending an important event in Manila. And coincidentally, Do Yoon is also not far from the location of Wan-soo, because before Do Yoon get information if the perpetrator who had patented his colleague will do the patenting back in this place. Until when Do Yoon was watching the situation and looking for the perpetrator, it turns out that secretly the perpetrator plans to patronize Oh Wan-soo with a full damage sniper. But this time, the shot was Nadi. Elias missed and even banged one of the assistant Wan-soo. The shot certainly made things chaotic, and panic was inevitable, including Wan-soo, who was very shocked by what happened to him, while Do Yoon, who focused on finding the whereabouts of the perpetrator. Do Yoon swiftly tried to save Wan-soo first, because Do Yoon realized if Wan-soo is the target of the offender's attention, Do Yoon brought Wan-soo, who was scared half dead. It was to the outskirts of the city, so they wouldn't be followed by anyone. Without the knowledge of Wan-soo, Kim Yong-guk, her husband, had put a tracking device in his wife's car, where when Wan-soo's car broke down, Do Yoon, who tried to fix it, that's where he found the tracking device. And since he thinks it's quite dangerous for Wan-soo's safety, Do Yoon also decided to bring Wan-soo to his residence. At first, Wan-soo did not believe and had doubts to Do, but Do Yoon assured Wan-soo that Wan-soo would be safe. When it's together, Wan-soo finally followed where Do Yoon went, considering that he's being targeted now. Arriving at Do Yoon's residence, Do Yoon asked who would want to, Wan-soo, Mocha, but Wan-soo can't answer it because Wan-soo himself didn't know it either. Do Yoon then told Wan-soo to immediately contact anyone who Wan-soo probably trusted to pick her up at the embassy. But Do Yoon suggested Wan-soo not to give away her location right now or call the police for the purpose, just in case, because there's nothing else to trust. Wan-soo also asked Do Yoon's identity, but Do Yoon didn't tell him anything about his identity.
대사관으로 모셔드릴게요. 누구든 믿을 만한 사람.
Seeing a mermaid in distress, Wan-soo then helped treat an injured mermaid arm. Mer people also help clean tick marks that's on Wan-soo's face, make the heart of Wan-soo a little touched by the treatment of Mer. After that, they both rushed to the Korean embassy. Husband Oh Wan-soo, my Kim Young came full of worry. Pick up his wife at the embassy and immediately bring Wan-soo home. Jung Gyu-woon also told his assistant, who is none other than Park, to reward to the man who saved his wife, which turned out to be by chance. Park apparently knows Do Yoon, who saved Wan-soo of the patenting plan. Park immediately contacted the mermaid and asked her to meet, and since So Merman has saved Wan-soo, then Park intends to invite Mer people to work together in the flower shop. The name of the flower shop itself is a pseudonym for Jungkook's father's Hwain Group company, and because of Do Yoon know the incidents of the colleague related to the company, Hwain Group, then for the sake of his close friendship, and because of a mermaid's concern, her friend who had donated a kidney to her, Do Yoon also received an offer from Park. While Oh Wan-soo, who is still traumatized by the bad events he experienced, now he must be faced with the arrival, his mother-in-law, who asked for to immediately cancel his show in Manila and bribed the ambassador to keep his mouth shut about the bad events that happened Wan-soo today. But Oh Wan-soo certainly not wants to tarnish his good image as the head of a charitable foundation by bribing the ambassador, and Wan-soo will continue the show as well as Wan-soo as well want to run a life with.
야! 회장님이 시키세요. 날더러 시키라고?
Wan-soo was upset because of her mother-in-law's behavior of her mother-in-law who liked to bribe. Wan-soo began to oppose the mother, made the mother-in-law angry and as if wanted to quickly eliminate Wan-soo. Short time, Wan-soo then held a conference, emergency press, about yesterday's events. Wan-soo also clarified, if it's true, he was threatened by the Islamic group for yesterday's incident. He will not be afraid to face the threat, even if you have to risk your soul and his body. And he will continue to fight for the right to justice, even though a lot of people don't like it. Yet strangely, mother-in-law and also Jung Gyu-woon was not at all pleased with Wan-soo's actions, doing a press conference, because according to them, should Wan-soo just shut up and have no right to hold a press conference. At night, Wan-soo's foundation celebration party was held in a luxury hotel. There Wan-soo looks so old-fashioned, coconut, looks so beautiful, non-charming, at his very mature age. Wan-soo came with Jung Gyu-woon, her husband, until before entering the event, their assistant introduced a new bodyguard, who was none other than Do Yoon.
서도윤입니다.
Park then introduced Do Yoon to Jung Gyu-woon. Yoon, who saved Wan-soo. And Do Yoon is a former member of the Korean police force, just like Park. Hearing that Wan-soo finally knows Do Yoon's name and identity. But Oh Wan-soo didn't say a word. There are actually many questions in his heart. And Wan-soo just walked away and entered into the party, while Do Yoon started working as a new bodyguard. Hwain grew until the party going on. We can see a Wan-soo who live in luxury and power. Since she managed to marry Jung, the son of a conglomerate from the Hwain Group Corporation, he always supported his career. Because in the past, apparently Wan-soo is just a child from a simple family far away from the word luxury, where the mother only works as a golf guide, who worked in the place of a woman who is now Wan-soo's mother-in-law. And an incident got Wan-soo's mother fired for a trivial matter. That his mother-in-law Wan-soo slapped mother Wan-soo for not liking being praised for her ugly shots. And since that incident, Wan-soo's mother was determined to make Wan-soo a goal player, successful professionals, and of course produce Kwan, to avoid being trampled on by their pride and dignity. Wan-soo himself was seen practicing non-stop. Even until he was a teenager, Wan-soo has to work as a golf guide to pay for his training fees. Wan-soo's sober mother. If a career in Korea will not develop her daughter's career, the mother also told Wan-soo to have a career in America. Armed with money, Soo with all considerations. He eventually went to America to develop his skills to be a club player. In America, Oh Wan-soo continues to participate in various golf tournaments, and in the end, Wan-soo managed to win a prestigious golf tournament that made a career, and his popularity as a professional golfer skyrocketed. But unfortunately, the money Wan-soo got from winning the tournament instead blackmailed his mother, because apparently the mother was in debt due to slot addiction. So it requires Wan-soo pay mother's debt with money from winning her golf tournament. And ever since then, Wan-soo, who was fed up with the behavior of his mother Wan-soo, he broke up with his mother, and Wan-soo decided to quit as a professional goal player and change professions to charity angels, aka the leader of Charity Foundation. And at that charity party, Wan-soo introduces Jung-guk, her husband, to the guests and show romance with her husband as if Jung-guk bought a fantastic precious luxury necklace for her. Wan-soo then tell if the investor will raise his donation money from 5 billion to 30 billion because the investor appreciate the courage of Wan-soo to defeat threats of criminal groups for the sake of voicing justice, where Wan-soo will allocate the dana to help children and women victims of war around the world. But a fact is revealed, because apparently the romance Oh Wan-soo and Jung-guk, her husband, just formed their formality in front of the media, because it turns out Jung-guk had an affair with a woman named Jang Tae-ra, who is a close relative of Oh Wan-soo. Jang Tae-ra himself was seen taking Jung-guk to another room, while Wan-soo is visited by Jang Tae-ra's son named Jun-hee, who asked where his mother was, because Jun-hee was feeling sleepy. Wan-soo, who seemed to have known Wan-soo immediately rushed to meet Jang Tae-ra in another room and caught the two making out, made Jang Tae-ra and Jung-guk surprised. Jang Tae-ra then tried to find an excuse to cover up his depraved behavior, but Jang Tae-ra and Jung-guk were taken back by surprise when Oh Wan-soo turns out during its knowing the depraved behavior of both of them. But Wan-soo looks calm and not at all angry to see her husband cheating on her, and instead, Wan-soo said if they should have found somewhere else to cheat, they could have been arrested by journalists, who discovered them later on. Oh Wan-soo calmly back to the party and had to pretend to show intimacy by dancing with Jung-guk, as if nothing happened behind Wan-soo's smile. Wan-soo was very giddick with the behavior of her husband's governor. After the party ended, Wan-soo was asked to come by his in-laws, who turned out to be the mother-in-law. Found out about Jung-guk and Jang Tae-ra's affair, and the mother-in-law even supported her son's depraved actions with the aim of for Wan-soo to divorce Jung-guk. Spicy Muthi in-law can control the foundation owned by but Wan-soo certainly won't be that easy. Handed over a charitable foundation that has been fighting so hard. Remember Wan-soo first until you have to, leaving her precious time with her son, just to find donors around the world. Where now, Wan-soo will not divorce Jung-guk and threaten his If the mother-in-law tried to get rid of him, then the image and good name of the Hwain Group will be tarnished. Because Wan-soo is a good image owned by the Hwain Group. Create. Mother-in-law is upset and plans something bad to Wang.
행여라도 그 똥물이 나한테 튈까봐. 나올
So,
대단에 손 대지 마세요,
we
회장님.
and were shown flashback meeting Oh Wan-soo and Jung-guk, who was the beginning of their love for each other, where the two fell in love at first sight. As long as they're doing their humanitarian duty in Africa, Jung-guk also established himself to propose a but at first, the mother-in-law named Pak Moran objected to Wan-soo, who will become his daughter, considering Wan-soo was his former employee's son, and now Wan-soo's mom is a slot addict. But because Wan-soo is a professional goal athlete, he has great influence as well as famous, and felt that it would be beneficial for the Hwain Group company. Moran finally blessed the marriage, but Miran gave a condition to Wan-soo, which is Oh Wan-soo should send Wan-soo's mother to live abroad for fear disgrace Mom Wan-soo, stealing good image Hwain Group, and that's where the love life of Wan-soo began, become less fortunate. In the midst of her turmoil, Oh Wan-soo is now badly trying to leave the West. Do Yoon, who happened to be there trying to escort Wan-soo, went to his room.
나랑 잘래?
Caught having an affair. Lucky. Park comes and asks Jung-guk not to enter Wan-soo's room, cause Wan-soo may have fallen asleep. That night? I don't know what happened between the Wan-soo and the mermaid in the room, but Wan-soo seemed to contemplate being left by but the obvious Do Yoon destination into Hwain Group, which is to uncover the perpetrators of patenting their police colleagues that there is a possibility the perpetrator related to the Hwain Group. Short time. So Do Yoon finally returned to Korea, and for the first time Do Yoon entered the main palace Hwain Group, where Do Yoon told fuck about job desk or work to be done by and the codes that Do Yoon was required to use. In that moment, Do Yoon had time to ask the purpose of the PA giving some money to the casino boss, but Do Yoon discouraged him. Park then said that himself as a senior, so sorry, because he can't reveal the cause of Roo-hyuk's face to Kang Do-joon, because according to Park, Roo-hyuk's face case is like looking for a needle in a haystack. Roo-hyuk's patenting is very complicated and will be difficult to uncover. Merman was then asked to meet Wan-soo, but people don't accidentally nudge his photo that turned out to be behind that picture frame. There is a memory containing the footage of the head of the Hwain Group. Do Yoon, even he checked it, see some irregularities, and immediately remembered Yu's words. Something in the Hwain Group, as well as the big secret behind the death of the leader of the Hwain Group named Kim Yong-guk, who strongly believes in Oh Wan-soo, his son, and the possibility. Curiosity is also the reason why Do Young's colleague was patented by someone felt the perpetrator of patenting related to people in Hwain Group immediately rushed over Wan-soo and if the Wan-soo is now in threat of patenting, because according to Do Yoon, perpetrators who tried to patentize in Manila will again do the same to Wan-soo. Make Wan-soo confused and asked the reason why the perpetrator was targeting him. Do Yoon explained that the possibility of the perpetrator trying to target not an ISOS group, but the same person is the perpetrator of the bodyguard, and for Wan-soo's safety, Do Yoon asked Wan-soo not to be far from him. Heard that? Wendy was a little hesitant and didn't fully believe Do Yoon's words. But Do Yoon still reminds Wan-soo to be vigilant and watch out for the people in our Hwain Group. Then shown Koo-yuk flashback, and Do Yoon accepts the mission that will be the beginning. Disaster for Koo-yuk. Well, on that mission, Do Yoon was commissioned by the head of intelligence security to guard the president from multiple threats, while Yoo-hyuk is assigned to investigate a tactical data, which is kept by a conglomerate company that is none other is a Hwain Group in the Manila branch. And along with that, Roo-hyuk also secretly investigated the cause, head of Hwain Group, that is Chairman Kim Do. And I felt that the task Roo-hyuk received This is in line with the investigation he did regarding the chairman Kim related to the Hwain Group money laundering scheme. Unfortunately, in the middle of his investigation, Joo Hyuk must die before his task is completed. The news of Joo Hyuk's death certainly hit Do. Plus, the investigation into Do Young's death was terminated by the head of intelligence because, according to him, there is no evidence whatsoever regarding the perpetrator of Joo Hyuk, which, even though Roo Hyuk's moat case could be dug deeper, considering Do Yoon was a key witness to Roo Hyuk's passing, even Do Yoon had time to ask his boss to allow him to investigate the patron of Roo Hyuk's patterning. But unfortunately, the superior did not allow Do. Back to the present. Wan-soo, who escorted Do Yoon to his office, was met by Wan-soo's brother named Yoon-soo. He also worked in the Hwain Group. Yoon-suk was then told if he would make his charitable foundation to be an international foundation who don't fully depend on the Hwain Group, because Wan-soo no longer wants his mother-in-law as head of the Hwain Group. Using the dana from his foundation for the benefit of the Hwain Group, millionaire Soo also no longer wants to make Hyun-soo launder money. Hwain Group to develop the foundation makes Hyun-soo worry and tells if Wan-soo's plan will not be easily realized. Considering Park Miran-in-laws, Wan-soo will not be willing to give up Wan-soo's charitable foundation. Move independently. Yoon-soo was also suspicious. Could it be the person who tried to patent Wang-soo was his father-in-law's man for disagreeing with Wang-soo's plan about making his foundation independent? After that, Wan-soo met Jang Tae-ra. And the strongest fact when Wan-soo, Eravine who already knows? If Jun Hai Jang Tae-ra's son turns out to be Jang Tae-ra's son with Jungkook, and Jang Tae-ra and Jungkook have been having an affair. Wan-soo also knew about the affair between the two. But don't be arrogant, just say if he has offspring to inherit the Hwain Group. And unlike Wang-soo, who has no more children after his son, Meningoi make Wang-soo upset and told the Jang Tae-ra to be quiet and doesn't discuss his late son, because all this time, Wang-soo loves Jang Tae-ra life that is not considered by the Hwain Group for loving Jun, because Jun Hae is the same age as his son.
네가 불쌍해서 대접해준 거야.
Jang Tae-ra must also keep the harsh reality a secret because of how hard Jang Tae-ra tried to hurt Wan-soo's heart. Oh Wan-soo will never divorce Jung-koo. Make Jang Tae-ra surprised and confused with what else planned want Wan-soo to do to him. But Wan-soo, who is still angry, Jang Tae-ra's affair, and Jungkook, who could have been caught by the reporters, will ruin her good image. And Wan-soo doesn't mind if Jang Tae-ra steals her husband, because according to Wan-soo, Jang Tae-ra didn't actually steal anything from him, because Jang Tae-ra's level is far below his. Hearing that, Jang Tae-ra then revealed that he wanted to have another child with Jungkook. And this plan will be conveyed to the leader of aka Wang-soo's But Wang-soo has other plans. He wants Jang Tae-ra and Jun-hoo to leave Korea and living in Switzerland. It was for Jang Tae-ra's own good. Jang Tae-ra certainly rejected it. And he even told a secret to Wang-soo, where Jang Tae-ra said, if it's actually never loved Wan-soo, and they're meeting in Africa, actually arranged by the leader of Mir, because Kim Jong-guk was hit by a scandal, which is dating an artist. And on that night, those on a drug binge, the artist suddenly owed and for that, even try cover up a scandal by looking for someone who has a good image that no other person is. Oh Wan-soo, who is known publicly as an angel of charity, which is indirectly Wan-soo's good image is Onayur. Kwan-soo also gets the news. Unpleasant from his mother-in-law, who planned to bring Jun. He broke into their residence and raised like a son Jung-koo, making Wan-soo certainly refused and would not accept it no matter what. Even if it did happen, then Jang Tae-ra, the affair of her husband and their illegitimate child, would be Wan-soo's business. Wan-soo then asked Jung-koo to immediately send Jang Tae-ra and Jun-hai to Switzerland, but Jung-koo couldn't give a decision before getting permission from his mother. make Wan-soo upset over such a trivial thing alone. Her husband is incompetent. Do it. Do it. And the situation was getting confused because the next day, Hwain Group will do a family photo session that turns out Wan-soo's mother-in-law invited Jun-hee to take a picture together in place of Chan-hee. Position, son of Oh Wan-soo, who is now deceased, which apparently Chang-hee was kept secret from the media, and because they're the same age, then Jun-hee will take the name Chang-hee and become the son of Oh Wan-soo, of course, objected to his father-in-law's plan because he was not willing. His late son's identity was taken by Jun-hee, but his in-laws explained, if the situation, nothing will change. Wan-soo doesn't want to divorce Jung-guk and no longer want to have children. And Miran did the family photo to calm down media suspicions about Wan-soo's son. And Wan-soo don't have to worry, because whatever happened regarding public opinion, Oh Wan-soo stay a big mistress, Hwain Group and the legal wife of Young-gyu. With Yoon-soo finally wanted to do a family photo session, even though it looks. A disappointed look on his face emanated from Oh Wan-soo without the slightest smile. And Oh Wan-soo increasingly made heartache when his son's room should be given to son of her husband's affair, and his son's belongings must be removed immediately. Wan-soo then tells the waiter if he will leave and not be contacted for a while. Hearing that, the butler immediately contacted Do Yoon to keep Oh Wan-soo. Do Yoon immediately approached Wan-soo's car. Wan-soo initially told Do Yoon not to come with him, but because guarding Wan-soo has become a duty, Do Yoon also come with Wan-soo and told Wan-soo to pretend he didn't see it.
싶다고요.
전 지금 없는 겁니다. 혼자 계신 거예요.
Wan-soo then went to a beach, walking, contemplating all the fate that seemed not on his side. Once it's done, Wan-soo went back to her car and was about to put on her shoes. Do Yoon also swiftly cleaned the feet of the Wan-soo again, make Oh Wan-soo slightly melt with mermaid attention to him. But Wan-soo instead said, if, until now, he still can't believe Do Yoon's words of his mission to investigate the secrets, Hwain Group, as well as Wan-soo, Do Yoon showed strong evidence on the sidelines of working as his bodyguard and asked Do Yoon to deliver it to a villa. But apparently in the villa, Jung-guk has stayed waiting for Wan-soo because Jung-guk knows what. The wife was upset. Then Wan-soo will come to this villa without any guilt. Kim Jong-guk there even expressed his wish to Wan-soo to go back to having another child. Oh Wan-soo, who was very upset, said if he already knew why first. Jung-guk married her because he wanted to cover her dirties. Hearing that, Kim Jong-guk tried to explain it was the plan of his mother. But behind that, he still loves Oh Wan-soo sincerely. And Jung-guk married Oh Wan-soo for absolutely love her. Kim Jong-guk was then trying to play Owen's therapy. Oh Wan-soo with Cape rejected her husband's forced action. So Do Yoon, who saw clearly the coercion that Jung-guk did to Wan-soo, immediately rushed to help Wan-soo by holding Jung-guk, then tried to calm Jung-guk down because according to Do Yoon, it will be a big problem if both of them get hurt. The next day, Do Yoon went to visit the Hwain Group Security Center building. It was the training ground for the Hwain Group's bodyguards. Do Hyun was asked to train new children at once, showing his skill in martial arts. Of course, easily Do Hyun was able to take down all the bodyguards who trained them, which according to Do Hyun himself, lately he rarely practiced martial arts. Until when Do Young talked with Park. Do Young smart asked how long Park worked with the Hwain Group. Park immediately understood what the mermaid wanted to ask, because he thought mer people want to ask about the kid who took part in the family photo session the other day. Then Do Yoon also asked about leadership Kim, but Fa didn't answer much, and just told Do Yoon to read the news through articles on the internet, and secretly, without the knowledge of the pap, Do Yoon asked for a recording of all family member Hwain Group a week back, with reason. Someone has to... He learned. Do Yoon then looked at the footage one by one to find out the answer to the secret he was looking for. Until when he saw the footage of leader Kim Tae-woo's moat, Do Yoon also realized that the chairman of the Dao not Mocha in the palace, but elsewhere. And he was more and more convinced that Jung Gyu-woon already know about the perpetrator of Kim Dao's patenting someone from the Hwain Group. Wow. Get the truth covered by the Hwain Group. So Do Yoon immediately rushed to find other evidence, quietly entered the CCTV room, and copy other important footage. Do Yoon's actions were almost caught by the bodyguard, who would be immediately suspicious of Do Yoon's movements. Do Yoon then called by Jung Gyu-wook, who apparently did not accept the act to Do Yoon last night, and explained that Jung Gyu-wook really doesn't like it when a bodyguard interferes in business. His boss. Do Yoon only said that the safety of both is his priority. Jung Gyu-wook, who understood the meaning of Do Yoon's words, only told not to be too hard on him. In the evening, Do Yoon looked back at other CCTV footage, wherein the footage was Do Yoon found Park was putting in a lot of money, about 5 billion won, with Kim Jong-guk, and in the footage, Jungkook asked Park to get it done right away. Made Do Yoon speculate if the money is impossible to use to pay for the payment because the amount was too large. Do Yoon is also still wondering, what actually that much money is? While the leader of Miran intends to fire Oh Wan-soo of the charity foundation with the likeness of his secretary to slow down, make Wan-soo resign, so that the public is not suspicious of Oh Wan-soo, who got the news about he was asked to resign from his own office. Wan-soo, who doesn't accept, immediately replied to Moran by revealing to the media regarding Kim Jong-guk's bad disgrace. Her husband, who likes order to group, and having an illegitimate children resulting from infidelity. After the article was published publicly and the media made a stir and made Hwain Group getting problem. Because the news damages the good image of Hwain Group that has been painstakingly built. Even Jung Tae-ra and her mother were scared. Because now he can no longer leave the house. Because everyone already knows. If Jung Tae-ra is Kim Jong-kook's affair. While the leader of Mira, Wang-soo, called an emergency meeting remembering bad news regarding his son has made stock 5 subsidiary companies. Hwain Group, Onjo, and now the media is sympathetic to Create. Moran asked Oh Wan-soo not to leave the house for a while, until this news dies down. But Oh Wan-soo can't just stand by and have to do something immediately. Realized that her daughter-in-law was going to hold a press conference, the leader of Miran detained Wan-soo with meeting him with the minister to Baita. But Wan-soo did not just surrender because secretly, he managed to escape. Helped by Do Yoon to attend the press conference, Wan-soo then clarified what really happened in the polemic family Hwain Group, where Wan-soo explained who the bastard was, Aka, the Junhee, and Wan-soo instead said that the child was not an illegitimate child of her husband's infidelity, but the son of his father, which means that Wan-soo told that his father-in-law had a son from an affair with Jang. Surprised everyone, especially her mother-in-law, and also Tara Ali, after giving a statement that shocked everyone. They go straight home and confront his mother-in-law. Certainly, Park Nirin strongly condemned Wan-soo's very careless actions. But according to Wan-soo, if only that's the only best way to save Wang-ru's good name, as well as cover up the disgrace of the game. Jungkook's husband make Miran laugh, annoyed. Because he felt he had chosen Wan-soo to be his son in cause. Oh Wan-soo really troubled her. Miran also asked Wan-soo to immediately resign from the foundation and not interfere with Hwain Group again. But Oh Wan-soo certainly refused, considering he has been helping the Hwain Group for too long, until the public realizes if Oh Wan-soo there is a good face and mind Hwain Group itself. Neither Moran's leader nor her husband. Even if her mother-in-law still forces her to resign, Oh Wan-soo will again hold a press conference and exposed all the disgrace of the Hwain Group to the media. Then Wan-soo asked her mother-in-law doesn't interfere anymore with his affairs. Because now it won. Soo will expand his foundation to the international stage and manage it transparently. Participant Wan-soo, no, want to launder the company's money again because if her mother-in-law was still mixing the company's tactical data, he will not remain silent.
얼굴입니다.
화이는 내 거야.
제가 더 일합니다. 화인에서.
But the stepson of the leader of Miran accepted it. Oh Wan-soo then showed the room for Junhee and Jep. At night, Wan-soo, who wanted to vent the resentment in his heart, Wan-soo then jogs at night, and he is accompanied by Do Yoon. Merman then asked, what Wan-soo really protects in her chaotic life? Because before, Soo Deong was astonished what Wan-soo really want. The other day when the mermaid drove the Wan-soo to the press conference, because at first, mer people thought Wan-soo will solve his problem there, but Wan-soo even added new problems. Mer people also know that Wan-soo and Kim's marriage, Jung Gyu-woon's been destroyed for a long time, and according to Do Yoon, so what are you really fighting for? Wan-soo finally told me, if post Menengoy, his son, and before the leader Kim Do, his father-in-law, the late chairman of the duo, told Wan-soo not to divorce from Jung Gyu-woon, even though the father-in-law knew in the heart of his son there is a desire to divorce, but the chairman of the duo advised, if the time for divorce is not yet, because there is something that the Do chairman wants to ask the Wan-soo until the time comes. And Chairman Do wants Wan-soo to remain a member of the family Hwain Group. And Wan-soo must protect his charitable foundation. Make Do Yoon wonder so important to be a Hwain crew son to the extent that Wan-soo must be willing to be targeted by a paid supervisor. Do Yoon then reveals that Chairman Dai is not a mocha in the main palace, but somewhere else. And Do Yan has the proof. And it made Wan-soo so surprised. Because all this time he knew that his father-in-law had a heart attack in the main palace. Do Yoon also told him that his partner Ru Hyukmin. Knowing this, then Do Yoon also very sure. If the patron is the same person who also wanted Patanto Hans, and that person is a paid beater paid by one of the people of Hwain Group. The next day, leader Miran called Wan-soo, where Miran has other ways to. Wan-soo no longer refutes all his words and connect. For the past 10 years, Wan-soo has never once seen her mother again, and brother Oh Wan-soo has not told me where they whereabouts. His mother, who without Oh Wan-soo, no, if his current mother apparently is in a mental hospital and is dying. And if the public knows Oh Wan-soo had abandoned his own mother in a mental hospital, then Oh Wan-soo can be in a difficult situation because her good image will be tarnished. The leader of Miran also. Wan-soo wanted to go to the hospital and look after her mother. In his last moments, Wan-soo went to the mental hospital where her mother was treated. And according to Yoon-soo, their mother no longer knew the faces of her children. When he got to the hospital, Wan-soo felt that the hospital was not worthy of being called a hospital, but a prison. Until when Oh Wan-soo entered his mother's room. Suddenly, from outside, Do Yoon heard the sound of Oh Wan-soo screaming out to his mother, I don't know what happened. But we reshown the past, where Wan-soo still in high school uniform. Where at that time, Oh Wan-soo always made shield by his own mother to face the debt collectors. Oh Wan-soo, who is still a teenager, willing to be bumped by debt collectors for the sake of his mother, who is only concerned about herself. Oh Wan-soo's mother, who has dementia, sees the presence of but unfortunately, the mother did not recognize the Wan-soo and thought Oh Wan-soo is someone else. The mother then asked Wan-soo to contact his daughter, who he thought was Oh. Wan-soo is still in America, as well as the mother want to apologize to Wan-soo for feeling guilty. He used to eat hard-earned money that Wan-soo can from winning a golf tournament. And the mother promised she wouldn't meet Wan-soo again and will stay in this hospital until death. But not for long. The mother breathes her last. make Oh Wan-soo scream, crying, mourning the departure of his mother. Oh Han-soo also regretted not having time to apologize to his mother. Wan-soo then returned to his home. The mother-in-law waiting for him this time was sure if Oh Wan-soo doesn't refuse his request, Wan-soo must be willing to go with him to meet Miran's second son, whose name is Young-min, who will negotiate with the ambassador from China to talk about a business. It is also known that Mr. wanted to give the foundation that Wan-soo held to her second son, but Oh Wan-soo refused her mother-in-law's invitation to meet the Chinese ambassador because he was still grieving over the passing of the mother. Hearing that, Miran certainly continues to force, remembering his meeting with the Chinese ambassador will provide business opportunities worth hundreds of billions, which is very dear if it wasn't taken. Miran then threatened Oh Wan-soo to come with him, and when you refuse, then he will lock up Oh Wan-soo and his brother, exactly like what he did to Oh Wan-soo's mother. Hearing the threat, Wan-soo must obey Mira's request, and forcefully, he could not attend his mother's funeral. And her mother's funeral was attended only by her brother. That is until the day Yoon-soo finishes conjuring that someone is secretly taking pictures and watching her. Oh Han-soo was forced to go with her mother to meet the Chinese ambassador. At the meeting, Oh Han-soo don't talk much because he was still grieving over the Menengonya mother, and it looks clear the look of sadness was still implied on his face. After the meeting was over, Wan-soo received her late mother's ashes from her brother. While carrying his mother's ashes, Wan-soo then hurried to ask Do Yoon to deliver him to us. But before leaving, Wan-soo asked Do Yoon to have their trip unknown to those of Hwain Group. Do Yoon is aware that Wan-soo wants privacy and momentarily disappears. Do Yoon also asks Wan-soo to turn off his phone. Also unplug the GPS of the car so that it is not detected by anyone. The departure of the two without a trace made the people of Hongwol panic, especially Jung-guk, who is worried about his wife's whereabouts. With emotion, Jung-guk orders Park to search for the whereabouts of Wan-soo no matter what, while Wan-soo and Do Yoon apparently came to Wan-soo's house back when he lived with his mother. In the midst of her grief, Wan-soo reminisces all the past events of him with his mother. It is so dark and so difficult to live life. Wan-soo then sat on the porch of the house and lamenting the fate of the mother, who indeed Wan-soo hated the behavior. His mother was a gambler, but even so, his mother was still someone who was willing to sacrifice raising him and cherish him. Seeing Wan-soo drowning in her sadness, Do Yoon tried to calm Wan-soo by providing a backrest for Wan-soo and told Wan-soo to vent all the sadness he felt in that moment without them knowing. It turned out that someone was taking pictures and watching them both. After that, Wan-soo and Merman went to the middle of the sea to scatter ashes. His mother and Wan-soo forgive all the mistakes his mother made, and Wan-soo promise if he will not forgive the one who has locked up his mother, which is no other. That person was his father-in-law, and known a fact. If someone who takes pictures and watches them, it is from Pakma. Until when Wan-soo and more people come home, Jung-guk, who had been waiting for the arrival of Wan-soo, immediately hit the merman because he had bring Wan-soo without any notice to him. Even the unhappy Jung-guk, Do Yoon was too close to his wife. Jung-guk also decided to fire Oh Han-soo is certainly against her husband's decision to fire Miran, who saw the tension. It directly reprimands Puff for including someone who, though a former police officer, but always making trouble. But because this Do Yoon is suspicious and made Miran curious about Do Yoon's purpose. Miran also told Fuck to cancel his dismissal. And Miran actually scolded Jungkook, his son, because he thought Jungkook has committed a foolish act by hitting Do, which is obviously clear. Doojin was just doing his duty as a bodyguard. Jungkook was silent and received criticism from his mother, and after her mom calmed down a little bit, Jungkook then asked about Jantera until when he will stay in their house. Miran explained that he couldn't do anything yet because all this mess is the work of Oh straight away. Miran was so furious with her because Wan-soo did not want to give him a charitable foundation because apparently in the foundation a lot of dirty secrets Hwain Group, and if one found out and leaked it to the media, the Moran may lose its management rights. Miran plans to do something to seize the foundation by getting rid of Wang-soo, with the only way for Oh Wan-soo to leave their families. Not through divorce, but must be a bit. While Wan-soo was seen shining but Do Yoon pulled Wan-soo into his room, and without further ado, Merman confessed his feelings and asked Wan-soo to be his lover because Mer people can't bear to see when Asu continued to feel the suffering alone, as well as Mer people want Oh Wan-soo to be by his side. Heard that, Oh Wan-soo apparently did not reject the mermaid's wishes and instead came to the mermaid's room, which is he wanted to make the mermaid the only person he could trust. But before that, Wazoo Chuckles want Do Yoon to give proof about the truth of someone who patented Do Yoon's best friend, as well as evidence of the person who wanted to patent his. They are from the Hwain Group. Then showed CCTV footage of the passing of Chairman Kim Do, aka Wang-soo's father-in-law. Daljun explained that Chairman Kim Moken was not in the main room, but somewhere else, and the CCTV footage was given by Roo Hyuk, his partner, before Roo Hyuk Moken. The same perpetrator is targeting and that thing. Daljun was curious about the motive of the perpetrator, because according to Do Yoon, it's possible that the perpetrator was also the one who patented Chairman Kim. Make Do Yoon wonder what they get if the perpetrator successfully patenting Wang to look for additional info. That night, Do Yoon went to a place to get evidence about Ju Hyuk and also the mystery that happened to Chairman Kim. Do Yoon came to a Korean branch casino, who was still in the same management with the casino that he had visited in Manila. Then Do Yoon asking the casino guards to allow him to meet the casino owner, and Do Yoon told he is a member of the Hwain Group. Heard a confession from Do Yoon. The casino owner refused to come. Then the casino owner called the park and informed him of his arrival there. Made Park realize that Do Yoon had investigated something.
돌려보내. 모른다 그래.
예.
The next day, when Soo was planning to cancel Jungmin's business, his sister-in-law, who wanted to cooperate with the Chinese ambassador, and will indirectly make his father-in-law's plan to give over the foundation to Jungmin, will fall apart. While Park called the Mer people over her room to inquire what Seoul Uni Casino was doing last night. Heard that, Do Yoon also realized if it's true, Park does have ties to casinos in Manila and Korea, and Park seems to know about Ju Hyek's mokad. Do Yoon also revealed if he saw the Park coming to the casino in Manila with a lot of money, which Do Yoon believes that money, it was used by the Park to hire a mercenary. Park, who heard it, was so disappointed by the accusation from because apparently Park brought the money to launder money belonging to Ki. This is what he used to do. As well as Park didn't use that money to rent, to use a bounty like the mermaid accused him of. Do Yoon, who is still doubtful about the Park's confession, he then asked about the preamble of Chairman Kim Do, because Juguk Maningo, after investigating the practical data belonging to Hwain Group, and Juyuk found if Chairman Kim Do, the temple is not in the main house as reported. Make the pack can't stop thinking. Why? Do Yoon and the deceased also investigated cases that were beyond their authority. Sir then explained the real reason Chairman Kim Dakar's, that is Chairman Kim Meningoy, after having sex with a tabrut in a place which is far from its main house, which would worsen the image of Chairman Kim's baby if it is known to the media, and to conceal Chairman Kim's image. The family made a fabrication if Chairman Kim, as if he had a heart attack in his own home. Park then reminded Do Yoon, if the lives of conglomerates are very different from and there's a ton of secrets, where they as bodyguards have to pretend they're not seeing and also not hearing the dark side of his superior. And because Isli Do Yoon accusing Park of hiring paid death to Patton Ju, now the Park will no longer protect the mermaid position because it knows whatever he does won't make a mermaid believe. Ibom Park told the mermaid to resign. That night, Wang-soo invited the mermaid to eat in the kitchen because he was afraid if he went to the mermaid's room, no one will suspect him. So Merman then told about Chairman Kim's face, according to Park's testimony. But Wan-soo is worried because Mer people told Park about their mission. But apparently Mer people do it on purpose because Mer people are willing to be bait. Because if Park is involved with these issues, then the possibility of Mer people will be chased by the patenting perpetrator, as well as Mer people will do anything at risk to reveal the truth, even if he has to be the bait. In the morning, Wan-soo visiting children of war victims to engage in social activities until when it's done. Wan-soo rushes home with Do Yoon and another bodyguard. But in the middle of the road, suddenly, someone tries to patent Wang-soo by sending a drone that can explode. If it gets hit by the target, Do Yoon swiftly and deftly tried to illuminate the drone's pursuit by driving the car so fast. But because that drone is faster, in the end, the drone managed to hit the Wan-soo's car. Instantly made his car explode and bound. Lucky Mermaid is still alive, even with his injuries. Mer people immediately brought the clan to keep him away from the car. And soon, the car exploded. Splinters from the car hurt a mermaid's body, trying to protect one chute and render the mermaid unconscious. And apparently, people who tried to cancel Wan-soo was one of the bodyguards working at Hwain Group, which is no other is the bodyguard we just call the Inning Lini, where Oh Wan-soo and Do Yoon were into the hospital nearest to get first aid, which is, thank God, Do Yoon and one other bodyguard could still be saved. And it looks disappointed look on the face of the Lion. His attempts to patent the Do Yoon had failed. Lion again intends to patini Mer when Mer people were moved into rooms. But the plan failed because there was a Make Nang Line inevitably canceled her plan and report her failed mission to someone. While Wan-soo, who had regained consciousness, was very worried about the state of the mermaid because, as he recalls, the merman who protected him from the explosion, and Wan-soo believes the merman was seriously injured. Make Kyung-koo, Kyun's have been waiting. Bojo was disappointed because the first thing he asked was the state of Do Yoon. On the other side, the Commissioner General and the police came to the residence of the Iranian leadership to investigate the assault case to the lady. Because according to Sin, ISO terror groups often threaten Wan-soo, of course. This is bad for diplomatic relations and should be done immediately. Miran and Mr. Han, his secretary, certainly agreed with the opinion of Pak Eum-jin, but Mr. Han asked for to talk both with an envelope of money. Mr. Han bribed the commissioner and asked the commissioner if the police should not pursue or investigate the perpetrator who tried to patent the Wan-soo, because according to Mr. Kahan, every time Oh Wan-soo gets attacked, the stock of the company owned by the Hwain Group always went down. But the image of Oh Wan-soo in front of the public is rising. Even the charitable foundation managed by An-soo, more and more donors. Make Pak Eum-jin pretend to understand and obey the request? Understand, while pocketing the money. Secretly, Pak Eum-jin seemed to suspect Han's secretary and Hwain Group. While Park Bak assigned Jung-koo to send tactical money to the casinos he did. But Park remembered Do Yoon's words about renting. Payment shut down. And Park himself wondered, is it true? The money he always carries. This is dirty money, or money to hire a payout. PA, who knows if Jungkook has his own Dana talk. Directly reported to Miram. But Miran let Jungkook do it, because Miran was sure that his son wanted to have his own money. Miran then told Farhan not to take care of it, and in fact, The one I'm worried about is my second son, stubborn and greedy Jung-min. Miran originally intended to give Young-min the foundation, but Young-min refused. Miran was confused, from which his second son inherited greed. Hearing that, Betrayal immediately looks annoyed because visit Jung-min. I don't know what the relationship is between PA and Jung-min. In the hospital, Oh Wan-soo, who has been allowed to go home, first visited Do Yoon and saw his condition because Do Yoon was credited with saving his life. Oh Wan-soo is so sad to see the state of Do Yoon so but Do Yoon don't mind at all. Important Oh Wan-soo not hurt. Wan-soo was confused as to how he repaid all of Do Yoon's kindness. Do-jan then intends to show CCTV on the scene during that assault. But Oh Wan-soo didn't want to see her and said, if now he really trusted and in the moment that Wan-soo sober, if a merman was really willing to sacrifice for her. Wan-soo slowly hugged the mermaid. Before leaving Wan-soo, he told the mermaid not to risk her life for him. When I got home, Wan-soo, as usual, met his mother-in-law, who, according to Iran, Wan-soo is very lucky, not injured from being protected by his bodyguards. And also, according to this year, Wan-soo is so unlucky because it has been almost patented several times. Iran then advised Wan-soo to try to be nicer. For example, finishing business in China again. Miran also told that Jung want to invest in cosmetics business in China, although it's actually is the son of a woman who is not far away from him. That is as the perpetrator, but Jung Tae-ra's father was a former well-known judge, and his half-brother is a famous finance manager in Hong Kong. So they should at least respect Jung Tae-ra then brought her mother before Oh Wan-soo to talk about investment in China. Sure. Oh Wan-soo rejected and will not be friendly to the destroyer. Household, where he threatened between not to cross the line, because he had warned before, if he will not hesitate, banish the Jung Tae-ra from this house without being able to bring his son. When I get back to the office, Bang-soo insisted the Hwain Group company ledger to her brother, but according to her brother company ledger, there are actually two versions, where the book he was holding had been changed for the tax company. The real one is in Mr. Han's hands. The older brother realized that Wan-soo wanted revenge for Meninggoinya mother. But Yoon-soo asks Wang-soo to think it through, because it's not going to be as easy as that's remembering if Oh Wang-soo revealed the contents of the wine clue ledger to their public. Both will be involved in danger. And Yoon-soo certainly won't agree if Wang-soo, his younger brother, acted rashly like that, and instead destroy them both. At night, Miran was seen coming to the Henna residence and carrying a bottle of evil water. And an oldest fact, because apparently all this time, Jungkook has long known the secret of an affair. His mother and Aba, even since the kid Jungkook has ever caught his mother, understand with the PA. In the morning, Park checked the condition of the mermaid who had just returned from the hospital, because Park is worried mer people suffer a fate like natural youth, where Park wants Do Yoon to just quit working in Hwain Group and investigate Woo-huk's face at the police station only. Park then asked, how could Do Yoon concludes the similarity of the perpetrator of patenting Woo-hyuk and the one who's after Oh directly. So Do Yoon explained that he could tell the perpetrator by the way he held the knife. Do Yoon then asked Park about what you really know about the secrets of the Hwain Group. Sir says, if the real culprit who wants to eliminate Wang-soo was the one who was eyeing the tactical fund, costs of being able to Wang-soo confused the deputy. If the perpetrator went after tactical funds at the foundation, why does Chairman Kim have to be The night Wan-soo asks for help to Do Yoon to take the book. Big in the office belongs to understand, because the ledger was very important for both of their investigations. So that the next day, the mermaid rushed to the office, who was left unattended. The merman, who realized that there was no CCTV in the office, that means this place could have been a place of various forms. This is done by the Hwain Group. But to get in there, Do Yoon must use Mr. Han's fingerprints. Luckily, the smart Do Yoon took Mr. Han's drink glass and took his fingerprints. By using sophisticated tools, the mermaid managed to make the same carry print, exactly like Farhan's, and the merman managed to get into Farhan's office. But without Do Yoon realizing it, the Nanglini, who knows Do Yoon's movements, immediately reported the incident to the hero. Hearing that, Mr. Haspra rushed back to his office, and apparently nobody was in his office. Farhan immediately checked everything, things that could have been carried by a mermaid. And sure enough, the Hwain Group Foundation ledger has mer people taken. Angered Farhan, while Do Yoon immediately brought the book and showed it to Wan-soo. But when Wan-soo was about to keep it, suddenly people from the prosecution came with the purpose. Confiscate a charitable foundation run by even they arrested Jun-soo for allegedly doing embezzlement. Dana, as well as the prosecution, also seized all bodies will be taken to the prosecutor's office. He was shocked by what happened to him. See Wan-soo, sad. Do Yoon immediately calmed down Wan-soo while holding her hand. But the moment was witnessed by Jung Gyu-woon, who just arrived, who was certainly upset to see what Do Yoon did to Wan-soo. While Mr. Han met Jung-min and Ji-woon, because apparently Mr. Han found out that the person who reported Yoon-soo to the prosecutor's office is Jung-min. Farhan was also disappointed to Jung-min doing so. Jung-min did not consult him more. First, to carry out his plan to report Yoon-soo, Farhan also reminded Jung-min not to be careless and rush in taking action like the Jung-min did before. Hearing that talk, Ji-won was curious and asked what they're actually talking about and what her husband Jung-min has done. Jung-min didn't tell me anything. On the other side, Oh Wan-soo is worried about Yoon-soo, her brother. He immediately saw Yoon-soo's condition in the prosecutor's office. Even Yoon-soo calmed Wan-soo not to worry too much about him because she will be fine. Make Oh Wan-soo wonder because Yoon-soo is so relaxed. Even if their plan fails, Yoon-soo just said, if the fate of the Cave-in group is in his hands. Soon Farhan comes and asks Wan-soo to go home immediately. Farhan then talked to Yoon-soo. Without further ado, Yoon-soo apparently already knew if the person who reported it to the prosecution is Jung-min. Hearing that, I don't know why, understands someone denies Yoon-soo's guess to Jung-min by saying, if Jung-min couldn't have done that. Yoon-soo then asked Mr. Han to release him immediately and asked for permission to access all accounts. Secrets in his name, as well as Yoon-soo also said that the prosecution doesn't know yet if the Hwain Group has bribed customs and tax agencies for that Yoon-soo promised. We'll not talk about where the tactical Dana went. Hearing that ABA is still considering Yoon-soo's request, and tell Yoon-soo if Do Yoon was the one who reported Yoon-soo to the prosecutor's office. On the side, other Jung-min finally told Ji that he was indeed the one who reported Yoon-soo to the prosecutor's office, thus getting Wan-soo Foundation's office searched. The reason Jung-min himself did that was because it turned out himself ambitious to master the Hwain Group and beat Jungkook's dominance. Her by opening up a little dirty disgrace of the Hwain Group, but Ji-woon reminded again that Young-min is not considered the heir to the Hwain Group, and Young-min couldn't possibly take over the Hwain Group. The next day, Do Yoon checked all the ledgers belonging to the foundation, and he was surprised when he saw if it turns out all the tactical Dana flow will go to the Miran leader. while Miran and Sirhan began to ask for an explanation from Wan-soo regarding the relationship between Wan-soo with Do Yoon. Miran also showed intimate photos of Wan-soo and Do Yoon when the two came to Wan-soo's late mother's house. Not only that, Mr. Han also offended that Do Yoon was the one who took the foundation ledger in his office. Wan-soo also explained if his relationship with Do Yoon is not important, and Wan-soo admitted if he was the one who ordered Dion to pick up the foundation ledger in the office, understand. Make Niran angry with the actions of Wan-soo, and Niran also worried if the contents of the foundation book were reported to the prosecutor, would have put himself at risk. But Wan-soo denied Miran's allegations and said he would only use the book to make his charitable foundation an international organization. Zavi Miran, who is still upset, thinks Wan-soo is stupid. Then asked Wan-soo not to be influenced by Do because Do Yoon is an ex, the best highly intelligent police officers, and if Do Yoon reported it, it will be the end for him and for the Hwain Group, and also Oh Wan-soo. Han then met the merman and asked, what exactly is a mermaid? And the PA also asks for to return the ledger of the foundation to him. Merman also refused the request of the wage, of course, pissed off the PA, and then warned the mer people to be careful because he would not hesitate to patent a mermaid. After that, Pa then met Jintora and warned and asked Jin not to interfere in the Hwain Group investment issue because the Hwain Group is very rich and didn't need any investment money from him or his stepbrother. The conversation was heard by the mother, of course. They were both very upset at having been On the other side, Oh Wan-soo called Do Yoon to accompany him to run. Do Yoon actually knew that Wan-soo had something to say, where apparently Oh Wan-soo now starting to doubt Do Yoon because what Miran said before. Do Yoon also realized that Wan-soo did suspect him again. Wan-soo too then advised Do Yoon to return the ledger to the Do Yoon refused because if the book was returned, then both of their positions would be jeopardized, and if Do Yoon keeps the book, then he will be safe from the threat of understanding or solving. But when Wan-soo tells to his mother-in-law if he was the one who told Do Yoon to take the book, Do Yoon worried that Wan-soo's safety would be threatened, where Do Yoon is not. Want Wan-soo to sacrifice his safety for her? Ask Wan-soo not to do that anymore, because Do Yoon is the one who should sacrifice and protect no matter what. To see the sincerity of Do Yoon, who was willing to protect him, Wan-soo was dissolved in admiration for Do until the two hugged. In the morning, a piece of bad news about the disgrace of the Hwain Group suddenly released by the public media made everyone in the Hwain Group surprised, including ABA and Pat and Mr. Miran. Miran certainly did not accept the news that reported about Donut Tatis, Hwain Group and divorce rumors, Oh Han-soo and Kim Jong, which caused his company's stock price to drop. And in anticipation of that news, Nirano immediately gathered the Hwain Group officials, then told them to cover up or eliminate the news no matter what, in order to maintain the company's share price. And apparently, the person releasing the news that is Jantera and her mother, as a form of retaliation for being belittled by. But even so, Jang didn't feel any fear of anyone from Hwain Group that knows if he and his mother told reporters to release the news, Ha herself back to see Yoon-soo and ask Yoon-soo to keep his promise. Because before they made a deal, Yoon-soo revealed that he did not believe if Do Yoon is the one who gave the foundation ledger to the prosecutor's office, and Yoon-soo learned the true story, make the material shocked. Because Yoon-soo knew his plan and asked Yoon-soo not to interfere too far if you want to be released. Farhan then told Miran about it by saying if he had silenced Yoon-soo, and now Piehan has a plan to expel Hwan-soo out as a charity foundation manager, That is to make Wan-soo image a teacher. By raising ISU Wan-soo affair with Do Yoon and connect Wan-soo and Jung Gyu-woon have a show in Kotabus to anticipate rumors. Their divorce. Miran also told Wan-soo to go first with Do. Wan-soo, who did not have the slightest suspicion, comply with Miran's request. After that, the material then meets someone who knows about the contents of the will belonging to Chairman Kim Doo, because in the past, it turns out that Chairman Kim Doo has written a letter, testament in America before he and the reason Chairman Kim is far away satisfies wills abroad. Because he didn't want the people in the Hwain Group to know the contents of his will, including the wage, because Chairman Kim knows very well if this PA is a parasite, aka a cunning person who want to take advantage of his will, and the will be announced. If Chairman Kim is 70 years old, although unfortunately now Chairman Kim is deceased, and PA apparently met a law firm who can be trusted to set up the chief judge's will, where she tried to bribe this lawyer. Let's call it a promise. Ian did bribery to find out the contents of Chairman Kim's will, but Jandy refused Mr. Han's request and just give it a little grid. If all data in large quantities will be fixed on the foundation, a Mali managed by Oh Wan-soo. Mr. Han then called Yu Min and asked him to meet tonight. While Oh Wan-soo and Do Yoon now left together for the bus without the other bodyguards, they stopped at a beach to enjoy the beautiful atmosphere of the scenery there. In that moment, Wan-soo and Do Yoon get swept up in an awkward but romantic atmosphere, and in the end, the two embrace again. But without them knowing. Apparently someone was watching them who was none other than the peeper. This is Neng Lini, where it turned out the line was ordered, spillover, to photograph them. And Pa ordered the line to immediately patindua and left mermaid fingerprints on the scene to let mer people take the blame. Short time. Night pie. Merman then came to Wan-soo and told him that Jung Gyu-woon didn't come to Busan because before it turned out materials create scenarios as if Jung Gyu-wook's job is having problems, so that Jung Gyu-wook doesn't meet Wan-soo. Along with that, Line was seen lurking and photographing together mer people and Wan-soo. Merman then delivered Wan-soo to his bedroom and intending to keep her. But suddenly Wan-soo hugged the merman from behind and said that he had to hold back his desire to sleep together, because if they do that, then the degree and dignity of Oh Wan-soo will be divorced. Considering that Oh Wan-soo is still someone else's wife and not divorced, Do Jin also understands this and told Wan-soo to rest while he will keep watch. When Do Yoon was patrolling outside, Line took advantage of that opportunity to patchwork Oh
미안해요.
예스님.
방에 가서 제대로 자요.
But who would have thought any NG Line with skill? His fight was able to corner and even overwhelm Do Yoon. Wan-soo with all his might tried to run away from the chase line, but in the end, Wan-soo caught by Line then slammed Wan-soo to faint. And as the Line would patent it, lucky mer people back prevent Line action, and Menaye Line and Chu monitored in a different place. Pa meets with Jung Min and informs if Chairman Kim's will is to be read out next month. Farhan asked Jung Min to accept the charity foundation without protest, because all of Chairman Kim's inheritance will be passed on to charitable foundation run by a. Initially, Jung Min rejected the charity foundation and remained want to master the Hwain Group completely because the purpose, indeed, to defeat Jung Gyu-woon. But after get information that it will receive a lot of money in charitable foundations, Jung Min finally obeyed the will. While Do Yoon resumed the fight with the Line, Do Yoon, who already knows the Line fighting style, is finally Do Yoon managed to beat the line by tearing it down. Despite his serious injuries, managed to save Wang-soo by carrying Wang-soo by ship. And news of the attack on Wang-soo reached Jung-guk, of course, with panic. Jung-guk immediately rushed to the Weasel to check the state of Wang-soo Panboyo on the boat. Wan-soo is very worried about the state of Do Yoon until the moment Do Yoon regains consciousness. Both of them, who could not resist the desire, end up hugging and having fun. In short, Wan-soo returned to the hotel and rested for a while. Jung-guk, who was there, was astonished because Wan-soo, in the middle of his sleep, leaning, holding tightly to him, which is that Wan-soo has never done to him. Until when Wan-soo woke up, he was so surprised by Jungkook's presence, her own husband. Make Jungkook suspicious to Wan-soo if Wan-soo might have slept with Do Yoon. Jungkook then asked if Wan-soo really sleeping with Do Yoon. Wan-soo just said, if it doesn't need to be discussed, because there are more important things. Because last night, himself being attacked by someone, and Wan-soo don't know who sent the prince to destroy it. After that, Wan-soo and Jungkook doing a photo session with a romantic gimmick that aims to diffuse rumors, their divorce. In the middle of that photo session, Wan-soo remembered the moment when he treated the wound that Do Yoon experienced, which made Wan-soo so worried. But Do Yoon convinces Wan-soo if he go Nabi, okay. And Do Yoon asks Wan-soo to focus on their plan and told Wan-soo to find secret information from Jungkook. Because Do Yoon suspects Jungmin is the brains behind the attack, this is likely helped by understanding as well as tactical data. What they're investigating also seems to be governed by understanding. After the photo session, after saying, Wan-soo immediately asked Jungkook, is Jungmin the illegitimate son of Chairman Kim? And how Chairman Kim's latest chronology is gone. Because Wan-soo was so sure if Chairman Kim-in-law is not as reported by the media, and instead Chairman Kim raised the possibility of being patented by someone, while the leader of Miran is so broad alias excited. Because now the problem increases because the news preaches that he was cheated by the ageless water agent he had been using. Miran is so upset. He spent a lot of money to buy the water and to bring down the bad news about him. They advised Miran to publish rumors of Wan-soo and Do Yoon's affair to the public. Miran, with full annoyance, also said yes to the suggestion and told him to immediately release the news. However, Ha expressed her concern about the existence of Do-ni, who came to the Hwain Group because Do Yoon has a mission to get revenge for his friend's crime, because it turns out the person who was patented by PA was Do Yoon's friend. Heard that Miran was quite surprised, and Miran asked, it's been since when patenting key, because all this time Miran does not know all the plans of the way and only trusted him because he was his right hand and his mistress. After that, Farhan then rushed to release the news of Wan-soo's affair and Do Yoon. But before doing so, Farhan gave lessons to the line because the line has twice failed to carry out his duty of patenting a woman. Farhan then gave one more chance to patent Wan-soo. And if the line fails, then the lines will be sent back to their community in China, who always shut her out. He promised to carry out his mission properly. While Jungkook met Miran, his mother, and furious at the mother for knowing the fact that his mother was the one who released the news of Wan-soo's affair, and also Do Yoon. Miran also tried to be pretentious polished by pretending not to know. But Jungkook didn't believe it and felt very disappointed to his mother, who was spying and taking pictures of Wan-soo as well as mer people when they go to a bus. Jungkook also offended that his mother had once had an affair with Nina's thigh now. Heard that, Miran immediately pulled out. Jungkook then playing victim by explaining if he committed an affair because he was not considered by Chairman Kim, and she married Chairman Kim aka Jungkook's father because of coercion by his parents and not on the basis of love. But according to the pretext of his mother, was no reason for her mother to let herself see the mother having an affair with Thai. And at least Miran should apologize to him. But Miran even said if he did all that just for Jungkook's sake, for all the success and wealth he earned, will one day be inherited by Jung. But for all the success, it was meaningless to him, considering that Jungkook has been unable to confess his love to the one he loves, alias to Wan-soo, and Jungkook was already confused. How she convinces Wan-soo that she still loves him, and all her mother's plans, has already ruined his life. Even stopped him from reuniting with Oh. The conversation was apparently overheard by the Terra gang, where Terra realized that himself is not meaningful and undesirable existence. And here we can find out that Kim Jungkook is sincerely in love with Oh Wan-soo. It was proven when Jungkook took Wan-soo to the serious level. And not because he wanted to cover up his dirty disgrace, even Jungkook turned out to have met Wan-soo's mother, who was lying in our, and Jungkook just found out. If it was Miran's doing, his mother. Jungkook also had time to persuade Wan-soo to fix his relationship, but Wan-soo remains. Can't fix their broken relationship alias background. Because of Jungkook's mistake that deeply hurt Wan-soo, and Wan-soo was forced to stay there because of the last message from Chairman Kim, his father-in-law, Jung Terra. He felt his presence was not considered. He decided to leave with his son. Jungkook. The next day, Yeon-soo is finally released by the PA on condition Yoon-soo should be able to return the foundation ledger held by Do Yoon to him, and it will reward Yeon-soo with money. Won also told her if Wan-soo had an affair with Do Yoon, make Yeon-soo angry and ask Do Yoon the truth. Do Yoon did not deny it, and indeed he loves Yeon-soo, who doesn't support their relationship, asking mer people to give away the ledger of the foundation. But the merman will not give it, and explained about the tactical Dana Yeon-soo misunderstood because the contents in the ledger are very important to his plan, as well as the original contents of the document are all said by the. Even the leader of Miran can be caught. The contents of the ledger were known to the prosecution. Heard that Yeon-soo also took if something bad happens to him. He had prepared something for Do Yoon through his wife. At night, Do Yoon sneaked back into the office and managed to open POS safe because before, Merman had kept a little camera inside the clock. Alarmed to find out the password used by the where mer people are so shocked. No, the secret files kept by the is a document containing the transfer of power of attorney of the company, Young Min. And a secret is revealed because the file is also written that the key is the biological father of Young Min. But soon, the wage came. The merman immediately hid and managed to get out of there. Along with that, mermaid saw Jungkook met Pa. Do Yoon confused why Jungkook came there. And without further ado, Jungkook immediately asked the truth about Chairman Kim's motion. His father replied, if Chairman Kim Yong-guk was doing a hemwork, Jungkook certainly didn't believe it because apparently Jungkook knows a fact. If Pae is the perpetrator of his father's pet, and Pia is Youngmin's biological father, because initially Jungkook just ignorant with what the wage does and doesn't care. But lately PA always bother a Jungkook also reminded that he would not hesitate to patronize anyone who dared to harass Oh Wan-soo bojo niya don't give a fuck or Jungmin. Jungkook also added he was nothing but a client to his mother. Even Jungmin, his son, he did not want to admit that his father was only a servant. Jungkook then left and come to the mermaid that Park has captured. Jungkook jealously asked the merman whether the merman had a serious relationship with his once wife. Mer people tried to divert the topic and discuss the ledger, foundation, as well as the tactical Dana that he took. and even asked how Chairman Kim many. But Jung-gyu didn't care and chuckled, asking about the relationship, Wan-soo and Do Yoon. Cause Wan-soo is not willing to be taken away by Do Kwon-soo, who knew it, immediately intervened, stop Jungkook's action and protect Do Yoon. Kwon-soo calmed down Jungkook and believed that Jungkook wasn't the one who paid. Chairman Kim then hugged Jungkook and tried to calm him down. Because, yes, rice has become porridge, where Jungkook seems to be a sad boy, considering Jungkook loves Wan-soo so much, but their already complicated relationship make Wan-soo reluctant to open my heart to Jungkook. Short time. 2 weeks passed, and that day is the day when the announcement of Chairman Kim's will be made public. And a new fact revealed, because it turns out Chairman Kim already knew that Yoo-min was a son of understanding. And that's the reason why Chairman Kim didn't tell the contents of his will, knowing about the rotten plan. In short, after all the members of the Hwain Group family gathered, temple of the legal theme of opening a will written by Chairman Kim. And we also know the reason why Chairman Kim asked Oh Wan-soo to stick around in the family Hwain Group. Because Chairman Kim has apparently promised a fantastic amount of money, which will be given to Oh Wan-soo's charitable foundation. And that money can only be cashed out with Oh Wan-soo's approval. Moran and Youngmin were shocked to hear that, as if he didn't accept Wan-soo receiving that much inheritance money. A few days after the announcement of inheritance rights, fantastic money worth 80 trillion to be inherited to the foundation managed by Oh Wan-soo, Yamin, and Miran, who do not accept the money will be inherited by Wan-soo. They also plan to embezzle, aka laundering the inheritance money, because according to Miran, the inheritance money is a tactical Dana, the company kept by Chairman Kim without his knowledge, with a view to succession, Jung-hook being the heir to Wang, while Jung-min, with her greedy attitude, was very adamant, asked Jungkook to divide the inheritance money evenly. Heard that Jungkook refused, and he will not give a penny of the inheritance money to Jung-min. Made Yeoman angry and threatened if he would spread to the media about the tactical Dana, but Jungkook ignored Jung-min's threat and confirmed if the inheritance money was only allowed to be used by Wan-soo, his wife. Even Jungkook had offended Jung-min by saying that Jung-min is not a member of their family. In the midst of his turmoil, Jung-min meets PA and tells his plan that wants to pataniso Won-guk to snatch the inheritance money given to Oh Wan. Saw his son's ambition and greed. Farhan was pensive. Then remember a dark incident committed by his son. And here comes a big twist island, because apparently the perpetrator, alias the person who patented Chairman Kim, turned out to be the Lode Shang-min, because Young-min is very ambitious to master Hwain. Farhan, at the time, cleaned up his son's careless behavior by hiding a piece of gold, the one with Young-min's fingerprints on it, while the mermen who were in the kitchen met the line where when a mermaid accidentally drops her drink bottle, line with Gersep, catch the bottle, make mer people more confident in Nanglini. This time is the possibility of the perpetrator who patented and people who try to need Wang's because of his movement and speed during martial arts training. Mermen see the similarity between the line and the patron. The next day, Do Yoon advised Yoon-soo to submit the foundation ledger to the prosecution to uncover the tactical Dana inherited Chairman Do for the Oh Wan-soo Foundation, cause Do Yoon feel if the money will be targeted by Jung-min and put Wan-soo in danger. But Yoon-soo didn't agree to it, because mer people don't have solid evidence to prove Chairman Kim's money was an illegal Dana, considering the money is held in a Swiss bank and would be hard to trace, and it will facilitate Pahang, and Jung-min harms Wan-soo and claims the money, where Yoon-soo asked Do Yoon to give him the ledger of the foundation for him to hand over to the hero, so that Yoon-soo can get new evidence that will make Pahang. Do Yoon doubted it and asked Yoon-soo to be careful. because the book was the only evidence they had to incriminate understanding. And Do Yoon told about Yumin's secret, who was the son of Pa, by showing a photo of Pa documents, who will hand over all the wealth to Jung-min. Merpibel also tell that the line is the wage's loyal subordinate, which means possibility of wage. And Jung-min told Wan-soo patented line Merman will also continue seeking evidence so that the line could be found guilty. On the other hand, June, who is angry at Jung-min, her husband, because apparently secretly, Jung-min embezzled Ji-yoon's father's company, Dana, to buy company shares. Hwain Group, where Ji-yoon requested Jung-min to return the Dana that he had darkened. But Jung-min refused and excused if he uses money so that he can control all the shares. Hwain Group make Ji-yoon even more annoyed and remind Jung-min if no matter how hard he tries to compete with Jung, he won't be able to replace Jungkook as heir. Hwain Group Do Yoon Monaris Oh Wan-soo, who will hand over the foundation ledger to understand. Do Yoon also recorded the conversation between the two of them. Yeon-soo, who has met Pi-han, he begged Pi-han so that Pi-han would not harm Oh Wan-soo, his sister, by making an offer. If Yeon-soo will convince Wan-soo to divorce Jungkook and leave his foundation as long as Wan-soo is not harmed. However, Pi-han did not respond and told Yeon-soo to go overseas immediately. After that talk, who would have thought when Do Yoon took a break? Suddenly Lee Mi was set director patented Yeon-soo, which means that Chisel betrayed their agreement. Looking at that, Do Yoon tried to pursue the line and successfully mend treatment line, but unfortunately, the line managed to escape. Do Yoon then called the hospital to give help to Yeon-soo, but unfortunately, Yeon-soo's life is already beyond help given his severe injuries. Farhan himself is now reporting on the contents of that ledger to the prosecution, and reporting on tactical Dana illegal that will be channeled to the leadership of Mir, which, as a result, the prosecutor immediately went to the leader of Mir with a summons. Miran and Jungkook, who was shocked by it, asked the prosecution to delay his summoning. Wait for the arrival of the lawyer, Miran. But Miran was annoyed because PA could not be contacted, and because the news made the media uproar. Even reporters have stayed in front of Miran's house to wait clarification from the leader of Mir. But with his Wadadas PA came, then asked Miran to go out and meet reporters. Upsets Miran because the new PA raised the stem of his in the midst of the bad situation that Miran faced. But Farhan seemed to still side with Miran by convincing Miran if he will clean up the bad situation that befell Miran. Even by cunning, Farhan blames Yeon-soo that Yeon-soo was the one who reported the foundation ledger to the prosecutor. Da then advised Miran to immediately went to the prosecution giving a statement. While he will clean up the noise experienced Miran with ISU infidelity, Wang-soo and also Do Young himself was seen meeting Wan-soo and just told him that Yeon-soo has been betrayed by the Thai. Make Oh Wan-soo certainly feel deep sadness of the unfortunate fate of her brother. Do Yoon also tried to calm down the devastated Wan-soo. And after that, Wang-soo with the mermaid then went to the funeral home to pray for Oh Wan-soo. Her brother looks to wife Oh Wan-soo, who lost so much, left by her husband. While Miran and Pa, who had returned from the prosecutor's office, they decided to stay at a hotel where, in that talk, Miran, who knows that Yeon-soo was patented by a he also asked why he did it, and also explained, if Yeon-soo embezzled the Dana. The company even went so far as to slander Yeon-soo into gambling. Here that Miran most sympathetic and justify the act of wage, and Miran had asked if he never gives the right Hwain Group company solution to Jung-min, child of their infidelity. Farhan did not mind it either, but instead, Farhan expresses his desire to make Jung-min the successor Hwain Group heard the Miran laugh satirically, aka insinuating and explaining if the illegitimate child of infidelity will not be able to be the successor. Hwain blew. Although cannot say much, but from the look on the face of the material, himself well ambitious to realize his goal. On that night, anyway, seen Do Yoon sneak into the office, understand, and put a USB gift from wife Oh Yuzumi, of course. Inside that USB, there is a proof that will make the understanding freak drag. Until the next day, Miran was finally arrested by the prosecution on charges of embezzlement of illegal tactical funds. Tim Wayne. Miran was frightened and asked Farhan to defend her. But Farhan was certainly just silent, happy, because his plan to throw Miran has now succeeded. The prosecutor's office also conducted a search of the materials office. Do Yoon certainly allowed it for the prosecution to confiscate the safe belonging to materials that he had previously put Yeon-soo's USB. In that moment, Nanglini innocently even went in there and became friends with mermaids, who are very sure if Nan Line is the patron. Mer people immediately chased Nang Line and managed to convince his guests by looking at the mini back, which he was drifting last night, that they were both involved a pretty fierce fight, and finally, Do Yoon managed to beat Neng Line and handed it over to the police along with the recording evidence. Line Oh Wan-soo. Well, Farhan is now seen digging a ground, and there was a box containing a piece of gold, which apparently the gold was the gold that Chairman Kim used to have, and the fingerprints of Young-min. Farhan, who had felt successful in throwing Miran, he then met Miran, who already knows the facts. If the person reporting the Foundation's book on tactical data is illegal, is spillover. Miran was so angry and disappointed after everything they've been through together. And Miran Utaras asked the reason why Pei betrayed him. Farhan also explained, if it is done as a form of revenge to because Miran only thinks of him as a servant, even though they slept together. While showing a piece of gold, which contained Chairman Kim's Betty and Jung Min's fingerprints, Farhan then told me the truth. That his son Jung Min was the one who patented Chairman Kim, make Miran even more inexhaustible with Young Min's behavior. Why also made an offer to Miran. If Miran want to cover up the crimes of the PA who have been trying to cancel then the secret of Miran Huazioni, child of infidelity with the wage, then the PA will ease the sentence of Miran. Hearing that Miran, who is still stricken by disappointment because he was forced to comply with the request, alias Miran willing to be scapegoated by PA overall crimes committed by the Ember, because if disgrace she had a child as a result of an affair with, then it will make the Hwain Group that he had been building would experience a slump. Jung Min, who looks frustrated because of the soul, asking for a suggested alias, asking for divorce. Jung Min, who never returned my father's company. Jung Min's soul darkened, but Jung Min instead tore the divorce papers, and with great emotion, Jung Min went to the Iranian residence. Jung Min then told all the servants to get out of the house, where he was possessed by the devil, who immediately took him and pointed it at Jungkook while forcing Jungkook to hand over all the inheritance money belonging to Chairman Kim. But Jungkook, with his santuinya, told he would never give the money to Jungmin and offend. Jungmin has the same greedy nature as his father. The new one came to hear that and felt unwelcome with Jungkook's condescending words. Jungmin Pa also tried to embed, but Jungkook managed to deflect the shot and snorted back, while saying, if the PA is dirtier, from a grandson for having an affair with his mother right in front of him when he was a child. Wan-soo, who was going to see Miran, he cancelled his intention because he heard a gunshot came from inside the house, but unfortunately, the Min took the opportunity to Jungkook to make. Jungkook was repoo and limp, drenched in Wan-soo, who saw him, certainly felt shocked and could not help seeing her husband was dying. Wan-soo was crying, so she saw the tragic condition of her husband. But these two, Ha-neul, instead dumbfounded, not empathetic, were Pa-han told Hyung-min to go to the back to remove CCTV footage of this house while he will scapegoating Wan-soo. By slandering, Wan-soo became a suspect for Jungkook's patatin and clean the fingerprints used by Jung-min. Then understand, call and report this incident to the police as if he were the victim. Do Yoon news. It was from Park Jane in the police. Immediately worried and immediately came to Wang-soo. When he got there, Do Yoon found Jungkook a scary face. But Do Yoon was annoyed by Park Hani's statement accusing Oh Wan-soo because Do Yoon is very sure that Yuku's patenting actor is not Oh Wan-soo. Do Yoon then asked who the person who bought Jungkook. Wan-soo also told him that Yamin was the one who did it. Do Yoon also promised to Wan-soo that he would catch Jungmin and will soon follow directly to the police station. Do Yoon carefully tried to find the whereabouts of Governor Jungmin up to his throat. Do Yoon managed to find Jungmin, who was hiding in the closet, where Do Yoon immediately handed Jungmin over to the police. And after having a fingerprint check, Wan-soo is finally free from all charges, while Jungmin was found guilty of trappings and was sentenced to prison. On the other side, the prosecution continues to go through all the files. Secrets in the safe belong to understand and checked the USB that a mermaid had previously put there. While the Wan-soo, who has been cleared of all charges, he now met Miran and asked Miran not to obey the wishes of the PA who told Miran to cover up the crime. And Wang-soo told Miran to give a real testimony to the prosecution that he is not the one trying to do patenting of Oh Wan-soo. It would ease the punishment of Miran. While Farhan himself now feels above wind because he felt he had succeeded in mastering Wing, but plans and ambitions that he built from the past on the basis of greed. In the end, that power he sits on now must end. Because Do Yoon managed to prove that P is the mastermind of the patenting Juliak, his colleague, as well as the person who tried to patent Oh Han many times. Farhan couldn't say anything because his ambitions were destroyed by a former police officer that he took for granted, Wan-soo and Do Yoon, who have managed to uncover in all the crimes committed by Wan-soo also thanked Do Yoon because Do Yoon has arrived, thus far assisting him and protecting himself from multiple threats, as well as Do Yoon. It is also very thanks to the convenience provided by he managed to avenge his death. And the two hugged. But Do Yoon decided to resign as a bodyguard. Wan-soo because it feels the task is done. In short, Miran was finally acquitted of all charges for embezzlement of funds because the PA is the one who is proven guilty for scapegoating Miran for the purpose of mastering the Hwain Group. Miran returned to lead his company as the highest leader in Hwain Group, while Jungmin, who got mentally because he ended up in jail instead. Jungmin also vented his emotions to his father's even so annoyed Jungmin not to acknowledge the wage as his father. The drama closes with Oh Wan-soo, who will go do social activities to Africa, and Wan-soo will donate all the inheritance money from Chairman Kim to donate to underprivileged children all over the world. But who would have thought? Mermaids also participate in these social activities and will go with Wan-soo doing charity, and both look so very happy.